Okay. All right. So here, this afternoon, as I mentioned to you last time, we are fortunate and honored to have in our midst here two amazing musicians from Zimbabwe. They are from the Shona ethnic group, and they've been here since Sunday evening. This is the very first class, so we know they are also looking forward to it. Fradreck, to my immediate left here, Mujuru and Zimbabwe, they both come from a long line of Mbria players, and you shall see their instrument. In Zimbabwe, in the region that we call Mujuru, and in Zimbabwe, this instrument, which according to several people and several historical sources, is over 1,000 years old. It's a highly spiritual instrument. It is through this instrument that they can reach their ancestors when they are performing rituals to come down and settle matters in the community and all that. So it is not just an instrument for instrument's sake. Okay? And so the music they play is also not music for music's sake. It has got a purpose. And they are here to share it with us. They've taught all over the world, in Europe, of course, some places in Africa, South Africa, and all that, but here in the US too. They've taught quite a bit. They do come in, go in and come out all over. And as you can imagine, we got them from Portland, Oregon, and they'll be going back to Portland, Oregon on Thursday. In addition to their musical skills, they are also well known for making some of the best Mbria instruments. And the Mbria instruments that they make are always the best. So those who know Mbria, they make to buy Mbria and they have their name on it. They know they are buying a very good product. So I know we are going to give them a warm Michigan welcome by putting our hands together in preparation for what they are going to do for us. So let's all give them a warm
Thank you, Professor, for welcoming us, and thank you all for welcoming us. And we would like to start by talking about the Mbria. And before we get into any other details, we would like to make you have a taste of what it sounds like, how you feel when you hear the Mbria. So we're going to play you for just a short time so that we all have a feel of the instrument. And the song we are going to play you is Masangano, which means, Masangano is a Shona word. That means here we meet. That is, here we meet in Michigan. So I am going to show you this instrument which has 3 registers. And I think we are all able to see, or maybe you can show them on that side. 10 keys. And in Shona, we call them net. And we use the right index finger to plug the keys. And then netete in Shona also means those high voices. Netete also stands for the voices of the girls, hence the high pitched voices. And then we have the middle register, which is an octave lower than the right hand register. We call this the Mheuri, N-H-E-U-R-I, and I should have spelled Netete, N-H-E-T-E-T-E. And the middle register stands for the lead. It's the lead part. Whenever one plays a song, this is the lead part. And then we have the lower register. We can also, they are called Mavumira, which means the bass. So we the spelling of the word Mavumira. M-A-B-B-U-M-I-R-A. Mavumira. Okay, now in Shona we also use rattles, because usually all the music that we play, whether we use drums or we use Mbria or we use voice, we always accompany that with rattles. And on the music of the Mbria itself, we also use this in case we are not using this or the resonator. And you may want to play without the resonator, and it has to have those rattles. And so also we use this washo. So let us illustrate to you how the washo camera is bigger. So the instrument itself, like you heard Professor Ampene saying, we also manufacture them because we have the family lineage that has been using the instrument for all these ages. And so we learned through our grandfather who used to make the Mbira. His name was Mujuru, and he was also a revered spirit medium. So we learned how to make the instrument. And also I taught my younger brother Samuel. By the way, we are brothers, 2 years apart. And I also taught him how to make the instruments. And as Professor has told you, we manufacture these instruments. And there have been various other materials that have been used. Our grandfather used to use 6-inch nails. But when I started making them, I felt that using high carbon content steel can be stronger and it sounds far much better than using ordinary nails. And so we use this, we use the keys, those metal prongs, on high carbon steel that are forge hammered after, we hot forge them. There will be long rods, that would be 6 millimeters, thick. And then we forge hammer them according to their respective shapes. And then we attach them to a kwareva, which is the wood part. The wood is made out of a local tree in Zimbabwe, which is called Muvamaropa. It is a hard wood, and the name Muvamaropa, in English it would be one that oozes blood. It's because when you cut the bark off, some juice that look like blood come out. Hence the name Muvamaropa.
So it's a blood tree.
Yeah. Now, as I alluded earlier on, we have the netete, the high register, the middle, which we call the neuri, and the mapumira. Now we come to the tunings in Zimbabwe. There are various tunes. Firstly, we have these ones, what we call the tamba tsoko. And Mbiras can have, people can make their instruments depending on how one wants to. You can expand from a normal instrument that comes from a 22 key instrument to 28. It depends on who wants, people want to develop their own ideas on the instrument. But they can have as many as, these ones can have as many as up to 28 keys. So, the Tsoko Mbira, as I have alluded earlier on, has a lower range than most Mbira tunings in Zimbabwe. It's a low, and this one is traditionally tuned. We do not use the piano to tune the Mbira. It's just a traditional way of tuning. And the origin of the instrument, as he also said, it dates back according to archaeologists, 1,100 years. That is an instrument which was discovered at Great Zimbabwe ruins. I would think most of you would know about Great Zimbabwe ruins. It's an ancient ruins which is now not in use. And people who used to live there used to play the Mbira. And also because it was an empire, people used to perform their traditional rituals there, their ceremonies there, and all that kind of stuff. And an instrument that is 1,100 years old was found there. But I would like to think that it is even, the Mbira can even be far, far much older than that. Because this is only people who have studied the Mbira. People who, when they found the instrument, dated it. But who knows, somewhere else, one could find an older one. So it could be even far much older than that.
So right now I want you to pause and see if you have questions. I know you did some background reading and everything, and you heard them once. Now, if you have a question or anything, they can take your question and ask. Any questions or comments? Yeah.
Is the bowl shape for acoustics, or is that so you have the Mbira like separate from the board, I guess?
That's right. If you play Mbira on its own, it doesn't sound as loud. So this one we call the deze. There are natural gods that we use back home in Zimbabwe. But as you know, as we travel, they are fragile. But they can give a far much better sound than this. This is synthetic fiberglass. So, we can travel all over, you can drop it, it doesn't break. That's why we use this one for instruments.
Does that help you, right? To amplify the sound, right? Amplify the sound. So that's why you use that as well. Okay, good. That was good. Yeah, go ahead.
Can you face towards us so we can see higher clicking?
Oh, okay.
Or
yeah, we can do that. Okay.
top, the top keys are the lead keys, the low keys, the down keys are the low keys. That connects to the bass, and the right ones are the those are the high pitch keys. That's the girls.
Yes, my friend.
I did change the task it was I had.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
What is the purpose of the lower register? Like, what does it mean?
Right. The purpose of this, of the lower register, this one, the lowest ones. Right. When we are playing, the instrument is played in pairs usually, but we can have as many as 8 or 10 or 15. So it's unlike in a band, in a guitar setup. The Mbiras will be all of the same tune. They've got the same range of keys, the same bass notes. But however, when we are playing, then the lead part, the one who does the lead, plays in most cases the middle register, and then like what Sam was playing, he concentrates on the lower notes. So it's like we combine the two to make the music.
Well, like you explained what everything meant, and I just didn't get the lower one. Like for the middle one, you said it's next to like the lead part, and then the first one was like the voices of the girls. I just didn't get the lower.
Okay. Oh, the term we use for the lower.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Mavumira. MVUMIRA. It stands for the one that agrees with the rest.
The low voice.
The low voice that agrees with the rest. And if we play just the high notes, it doesn't give the whole some sound. So the low notes represent that. Yes.
So if you were teaching somebody to play this instrument, is there actually music that you read or pure memorization? And just through hearing the sound, you need someone to hear the sound, or are you showing, is there actually music that can be read?
Okay, that's a good question. For us, we learned by hearing. Remember when we were kids, we would just expect those ceremonies where the elders would play the music. And we would dance along while the music was, getting in us. It danced in the music. And when we left the place, we would go out there in the fields, playing cattle, and then we would imitate what they were playing, singing along, singing what we were hearing. And we would go. So when we definitely, but those days we weren't even allowed to touch a beer. The elders wouldn't even allow us. I also did that. Because I would want kids to listen. But then, when time comes when one wants to learn, if you pick up a beer, you have all that music in you. You can only want to figure out how to get the music. But when we are teaching here, we teach by showing them each phrase by phrase. The music is divided into 4 phases. There's a first, second, third, and fourth. And as you all know, it's secular music. And then, apart from being secular, we improvise along those lines. But we can always do the basic song first, and then show how to improvise each song. Yes.
So my question is related to these different way. I was introduced to Mbira through listening to Shimuranga. So I want to hear from you what is the relationship between the instrument and these kind of music, Shimuranga.
Shimuranga music is a term that was started by Thomas Makumu. He wanted his music to be known. So he called it Shimuranga music. All because during the time he was still in Zimbabwe, during the time of the liberation struggle, he sang for the people. he sang to inspire the freedom fighters out there. And the war that we were fighting in Zimbabwe was called the Chimurenga War. There's the first Chimurenga in 1900, and then the second Chimurenga from the 60s until up to independence in 1980. So Thomas Mapfumo took the word Chimurenga to name his music, and that inspired a lot of people, even back home as well as those in the war front, hence the name Chimurenga. But then he also took the Mbira beat into his music and then used the guitars to play the music. And Thomas Mapfumo's music is separate from ours because this is purely traditional. Thomas Mapfumo's music is the popular music. It's used all over. People can just play, but we play for the ancestors. We also entertain people using this traditional method. That's the difference between Thomas Mapfumo's.
Yeah, I just want to say a little bit. Yeah, also Chimurenga, it was done during the Liberation War, and we were using, the liberation, the guerrillas were using. They were first when they wanted to operate in a certain area, they first, consult the spirit in the area. Then, when they consult, it means Mbira. This is one of the instruments was used to play to call the ancestral spirit, so that the guerrillas, so that they can tell what to do to the freedom fighters. So that's why it's all called also Chimurenga music, because this is the music that was helping during Chimurenga war.
All right, so before we move on, I'm going to ask them to play another piece for us, to change the mood a little bit, and then we can talk about it and we can ask more questions.
So, our next song is Muvumbi. We all want the rains to fall, yes? And this type of Muvumbi is a type of rainfall which constantly falls, and it takes more than a week. But there is a small drizzle that goes on and on and on. So we named this song Muvumbi. It's an old tune also. That was Muvumbi. Now we go down to the role of Mbira in the Shona culture. Now the role of Mbira, as we have always been talking to people, is that we communicate with the ancestors in ceremonies. The Mbira itself is the instrument that we use to call the ancestors. When actually we need to speak about ancestral spirits first. In the Shona setup, even the ancestors themselves, they have a channel of how to communicate from the living beings to Mwari, or you can also call that Musikawani, which means the creator. Now, we have the family, or we start with the living beings. And then we have the family spirits. Family spirits are deceased persons who are directly related to one's family. And then we have what we call Makombre spirits. Makombre spelled Makombe. Those are the spirits higher than the family spirits. And then we have Musikawan, who is the creator, or Mwari, which is spelled Mwari, who is the creator. Now, the living beings, like us, we might have problems relating to us, the living beings. Problems like there is a drought, and there's been a drought patch in the rainy season, but we need to cultivate our crops, and they're wilting. Then we brew beer, take our mbiras, and the elders will do the rituals, and then they inform the ancestors that we are asking to have rains. The crops are dying. And then our family spirits will communicate with the Makombre spirits. And also the Makombre spirits, apart from being higher than the family spirits, they are also those who are called the rain spirits, or the rain makers. And they, the Makombre spirits, also relay the message to the creator. And then the message is relayed back from the creator to the Makombre, to the family spirits, and then to the people. This has been happening in the country, such that after this ritual, in most cases, when people are coming away from that ritual, the rain, they get soaked by the rains, because the message will have been accepted. And so, now we would like to talk about who, when the spirits want to communicate with the people, they communicate with the living beings through a medium spirit. A person can be possessed by that spirit, and then through that person, the spirit talks to the living beings to relay whatever message will have come from up above. And one spirit medium can be possessed by more than one spirit. There can be a spirit for the family, and then there can also be a spirit from another family. It works like this. during the days when this spirit was still alive, this person, remember he was formerly a person, and when he was alive, he might have gone somewhere and befriended a person. And then when this person comes back to his home, and then they are all gone, then that friend can be a traditional healer. He used to use herbs, he or she used to use herbs. And then they can come to possess on the same medium as this family spirit. And then use their skills as a traditional healer to heal people using herbs or whatever. So that's basically what it means. That's basically what it means to have more than one spirit to possess onto one spirit medium.
Yeah, for example, for the spirit to possess for a person, let's say one of, like, you are my friend, right? Then we used to be friends. Then when we die, sometimes, you my friend, you can ask me, to my children, where you can go to possess. Then we can agree. Then you can possess to one of my, friend. It works like that. Then do your jobs, like if you are carpenter, if you are scientist, whatever, you can maybe demonstrate when you possess somebody in our family.
Okay, then the spirit chooses who they want to possess onto. One can be chosen, whether you like it or not. Sometimes a spirit can come to possess onto a child when that child is still very young, even age 2 or 1. And the indications that show that a spirit is coming is such that that child may cry and cry and cry. And the mother may think the child is sick, and they can take them to the doctor or a medical doctor, but the doctor may not be able to diagnose what the problem is. Then they will say, this child is not sick, there's nothing wrong with it. And then, according to our tradition, they will automatically think of this other side, this is the other option, which means that there may be a traditional problem that is causing this child to cry, that is causing this child to be sick, and then they will ask a traditional healer in the community what the problem is, and then they will be told that, you don't have to worry, this child is going to be possessed by either his grandfather or her grandfather or her grandmother or his grandmother or his great-great-grandfather or whoever that may be. And they will be advised on what ritual they have to take in order to accept that spirit to possess onto this young person. And as soon as they finish that ritual, that child is okay. That sickness is gone. That crying is no more. So that's basically how we come to know that this person is going to be a spirit medium. And then that child can stay until they get possessed when they are mature. The spirit will start talking through that person from maybe the age of 25 or 30, sometimes even 40, when they come back to and then communicate with the people.
Okay, so this music is always related to the form of religion. They are talking about spirit and all that. It's an aspect of traditional African religion also. Okay, it's giving you the tripartite form, and you mix the writing that will bring it up and explain to you. Most of these things will come up in either your exams or the quizzes or something. It will definitely will come because you are talking about these issues. You can't take out religion out of any African concept. But that is what they're giving you, the spirit of the family, and then of the ancestors, and then of the creator. Stuff like that, they're giving you the tripartite blood, so they want you to, if you have questions. I know it's a little bit, it might be confusing for you, especially if you haven't seen spirit possession before. It might be confusing. What do they mean by spirit possession? Well, all that they mean is that whenever there's a problem in the community and they need to resolve, not just in the community, even within families, problems come up in the families, they will set up this instrument in the ceremony they call the Mbria ceremony. They will brew the beer. It's not bad light, but real beer. Okay, it's not the one that they drank last Saturday, but this is real beer. To sustain them over the night. Maybe you might call it ritual beer, and then they'll play this music. It is the music of the Mbria that has got the ability to reach all the way up in the heavens to bring the spirit to possess whoever they have to possess. There are professional spirit medium people whose profession is that. They are professionals. And then there are people just in the regular family who are not professionals, but yes, still a spirit might possess, okay? If you have been to a black church here in the United States, any black church, you may see something like that. They won't say a spirit possession, they will say the Holy Ghost, but for me, that is what it is, okay? The Holy Ghost, wherever you went, see people after a song and they are tumbling up and down, jumping down, screaming Jesus and all those things, it is spirit possession, okay? They won't call it spirit possession because they are in a Christian church.
The tradition in the Shona part of Zimbabwe is, even if I go from the south of Great Zimbabwe to Mutoko, and when you are there, if you have a problem that you may have encountered, you can also consult the families from that area, and they will always communicate with my own ancestors about whatever problem it is, and then we can consult them. Yes?
You said that during the ceremony they drink. During the ceremony, is it so that they can let the spirit in more easily?
Oh, the beer that is brewed is the one that is those are the, what do you call that? The offerings. We give them music as well as the offering, which is the beer. And when people are at a ceremony, obviously they want to drink, they want to dance, they want kind of, drink the beer. So that's basically what it is for. It is the one that is used to inform the ancestors on that particular occasion for the ceremony. Yes, thank you.
Is there a particular kind of dance that was a particular song or
Well, there is no particular dance, but there are different types of dances in the country. Let me go back a little bit to the setup of the ethnic tribes in the country. And there are the Karanga in the south, the Manyika on the east, there are the Matoko on the north, there are the Zulu in the middle of the country, then we have the Mandawu on the east. Now all these ethnic tribes were grouped as Shonas during the days when colonialists came into the country for administrative purposes. But they are all different ethnic groups. So all these people have got their types of dances. Now when we dance for Mbira, we just, there is the name, we just dance. But when you go to the southern part, there is the, in the middle, there was the Zulu. There is what they call Mbakumba. There is what they call Jerusalem in Murewa. There is the Ndau dance, if I may dissect all these dances. But Mbira, you just dance. Enjoy the music and feel wild with it.
Yeah, but the dance of Mbira generally, it's Shangara. Shangara is Shangara. That is when you know, just
Like tap dancing.
Yeah, tap dancing. That is the Shangara. That is one of the common Mbira dance. And also, I wanted to add on the spirit. Let's say that we have got the spirit medium. There's someone who has got the spirit with him, and maybe there's something that is wanted to be happen, but the people do not know what is going to happen. So that will be the emergence. So the spirit can, before brewing the beer, the spirit can come, just see, emergence come to the person. Then the person reacts. When the person reacts, the people will, produce the high voice to show that the spirit has come. Now people will go and listen what the spirit is want to say. Then spirit will say that there's something that wants to be happen. There is a person or there's a war coming just soon, or there is an accident. Someone want to be it's going to what can I say, to
Have an accident.
to have the accident. So please, can you do this and that? Can you prepare so that the accident should not appear to him? So that is the emergence cases. So we cannot prepare beer every time. If you want, if something want to be, we cannot prepare beer. If we have got a problem, an emergency problem, so the spirit can foresee before something can, something want to happen. I apologize for my English.
So I'm going to ask them again to play another piece, and then we can. I'm looking at the time here.
Now, we are going to play you a song, Chakwi Chamutota. We have always dedicated this song to people who assist others in need.
question here that maybe maybe somebody will ask this question, but maybe anticipating it. But let me ask you, what about the sound? What do you think about the sound? Can you strike a key? Let's hear what comes with the sound. Just maybe one or two, yeah. Just yeah. Okay, that's right. Or play strike once. Okay, again, try it again. Yeah. What we hear, when you strike the key, what we hear? Because I was expecting, someone to ask, I said, why do you have that kind of buzzing? Why is it that the keys, or let me put it this way, are not clean? Like you play the piano and you strike the key, still only to give it back. Then here we have all kinds of extra sounds coming with it. Why do you think is that the case? Yeah.
Is it because of how it's bound to the wood, like it vibrates onto that too?
Because the way it's okay, so it vibrates. But also yes, here I saw you raise your hand, right? Huh? Vibrating, okay. Yes.
I'm not sure if this is correct, but I looked online and said that they put like bottle caps and stuff on the wood so it vibrates with vibrations or contact experience.
Okay, that's it's an excellent, way of looking at it. It's an excellent way of looking at it. Exactly. So you are sure of what you're saying. Right? Yeah. Go ahead.
With the vibrations, you also kind of get it's like more than one musician, even though only one musician is playing. It's kind of get percussion as well as sound. Sometimes it sounds like more than four musicians actually.
Yeah, so exactly like what you just said and what she also said, right? So play the keys again. Let's see. With the vibration and everything, right? So this, like I said, this is highly spiritual music, right? And it's meant to be a little bit mythical also in a way. So you're not going to get that clean sound. That way maybe you will hear on the piano, the strike on the piano, the sound is clean. But here it's mixed with other extra musical sound like this, because they consciously did this. They consciously put bottle caps on the board, this board, so that the sound will do that. Of course, in the olden days, it was a seed. It was a seed of a plant, and now this is more common. So you'll be happy. Okay, so just try it again. Let's see. So, yeah. Okay. So this is how also, at the end of the day, you're not going to get a single pitch. Like for those who do Western music, they give a scale, a single scale. But here you get a mass of sound. Does that help? A mass of sound. When you play this and everything is going like that sort of thing, okay? So it's not like a single pitch, that sort of thing. But having said that, I want you to be aware of this because we might see other places too. It is also aesthetics. What we might say aesthetics, preference in a lot of music, that is African-based music. Okay, it is there. It is here. Okay, when you go to your rock band, you have that fuzzy guitar. That fuzzy guitar didn't start from rock band. It started from the blues musicians. Okay, who also wanted a sound like this, put something they call bottleneck. Have you seen that bottleneck before? Have you seen that bottleneck before? Some of you have, okay? If you see any blues musician using something on their finger to play and to get a mass of sound, that is what it is, because when they have the guitar and the guitar is tuned in the Western scale, but in their ears they are hearing something else, then they play, they get all those extra sounds on the guitar. So then the Western technology is what they want and what they are, then makes it into a machine. You give it to the rock guy, he goes like this, and so then they say, oh yeah, the bass guitar. That is a typical aesthetic. Okay. The same way, if you see any jazz musician playing jazz piano, the way they crash the keys and maybe be able to tell you that, okay? The way they crash the keys, we don't have piano here like I will give you a demonstration. The way somebody is playing the piano, and I'm talking about the African approach to sound, okay? The way they crash the piano in other words, they play about 3 or 4 keys, the piano keys at the same time. It's the same idea that they are not looking for a single sound, but they are looking for a mass of sound, okay? Good. All right.
There's so much to talk about.
Yeah.
Now, let's talk about the role of Shona Mbira players in Shona culture. Now, remember I told you that the song we played to you, Chakwicham Tota, it is about people who help one another. In the Shona setup, in communities, people help one another. We come from the Mujuru family, but it's not about me, Sam, Ephraim, and our sister Tekla. It's about our father, my father's brothers, my aunts. We all belong to one another. If one has got a problem, it becomes an obligation for everybody else in the family to help that person in need. And so that also teaches us as we grow up that we need to assist one another in the community. Now, when we play the Mbira, of course, we play for the spirits, and only very accomplished Mbira players can play the instrument to call the spirits. That's very important for everybody to know. And when playing the Mbira also, we choose which songs to play for a particular spirit. Who is this spirit? Is he from whatever family? As accomplished Mbira players, we have to have a large repertoire that also covers many other areas. Like I spoke about all those ethnic tribes. We have to have a repertoire that can accommodate all those other tribes too. So, and the Mbira can be played for during funerals, bring back the spirit when they are dead, 1 year after they die, during weddings, and general performance when people are just hanging out during the weekend. They pick up the Mbira, play, just enjoy the music, just hang out with one another. So we would like to quickly talk about Mbira players in Zimbabwe. They have to have a family history of Mbira players who used to play then. And they can also have a musical talent for them to be able to play. And now we would like to get to this instrument on international setting. Now we have so many communities here in the United States. We do have some people in New York who are playing Mbira. We have, like he alluded earlier on, in California, yeah, in Eugene, in Seattle, and many other places. Why do they play? They may want to ask, if we play this for our ancestors, what about them? What about this foreign person? Now, according to our ancestors, they've been telling us that a long, long time ago, people used to live at one place. And then, because they wanted to look for greener pastures, if I may put it that way, and so during the time they were at one place together, they used to communicate with their ancestors. And so others found technology, and they went, and also their pigmentation changed according to the climatic conditions to where they went to. But their spirits, their original spirits, are still with them. Now, when we have always been playing, doing all these rituals, they always tell us that sometimes they say they have been called to go and help somewhere out into the away from their place to the oceans, across the oceans. And they tell us there's been a problem. There's a friend of mine who came to Zimbabwe. This guy came from Italy. And he went there and he was told that he had a relative who met this problem during a catastrophe. I think there was a volcano or something. And then he said, oh, he agreed, saying that, oh yeah, that happened to he mentioned his cousin. And so, which means their ancestors were communicating with our ancestors for helping one another. And so, in that regard, since we have been playing, and life has been like in a circle, and it's going like this. Those that left their ancestors, but their ancestors are still with them. And now when we communicate with our ancestors, we have been told that these people's ancestors were always with them during all those times. And now they have called their children to come and play the instrument. Hence we have seen people come to all these parts of the world, learning these other cultures. Some of them coming to Zimbabwe to learn about the Mbria, to learn about the culture, to learn about the traditions of the country. And so, according to them, they are communicating with these people who are chosen to play the instrument, to come and play the instrument. So that's how anyone else is able now to play. But then it is always emphasized that the Shona pieces, the original, these old tunes that we play, they need to be kept as they are. Somebody might want to say, oh, I want to create music from Chapicha Mtota. They say people can use the instrument for whatever purpose they want, but it's important for them to play the original tunes as they are. And it needs to be kept like that. Now, I was talking about the community issues that, like we help one another in our communities. And like I said, we have all these extended family that we use, and we assist. But we also have people who are not from our family that may be having problems. They can't send their kids to school, they can't do this and that. I will have an obligation to assist him and his family if he needs to, just to help him out. And when he's okay, then I leave him. So in the communities, we help one another to such an extent that we form clubs that we use for that purpose. Now we have been so lucky in that when we came to the US, we met a woman whose name is Jayan Beck. She formed a non-profit called Ancient Ways. She uses the old methods of assisting one another to source funds to assist people, some communities in our country. And in that way, she has also come using the same methods like we do in our communities, helping one another to sustain life, to help pay fees for children, to build houses or houses that may have fallen down, and rebuild them, or even build toilets for elderly people who cannot help themselves and who may not even have children. And remember, in Zimbabwe, you cannot have a parent and then neglect them. It's a child's responsibility to take care of their parents. But if this person has got no children, then the community comes and helps them. So we have been as part of what we are doing here, we also go back home and assist these other people in need.
Thank you. So before the sign off, I just want to make a quick comment on what he just said. He was trying to tell us the role of Mbria musicians in their society, and he's giving us a list of what they do. But at the very end, he elaborated on, we would say, non-profit. Okay, so all that they are saying is that with their trips here, overseas, abroad, in the West, and everywhere they go, they also have the responsibility to take care of people not only in their families, but also in the communities. And they have set up a non-profit, they are helping kids, they are helping families, they are helping all kinds of people. So if you are interested in looking at that kind of non-profit, talk to me and I can get you in touch with them. Okay. So at this point, I just want to say, I just want you to help me to thank Fradreck, Mujuru, and